Guido Perino, and joining us on the Path Radio Spotlight are two guys who've been tearing things up in the rock and roll world. The riff surfer, Mike the Tree Mostert, and the front man, Tony Covino. They are, in
I think you have to say
theory,
the big tree, not just the tree.
the Big Tree
The big
Mostert.
tree. Yeah.
And we're leaving Tony out in the intro here with a nickname, but who knows? By the end of the show, we might have one. The way things have been going in our setup here.
All right.
Look they're more than in theory. They're here on the show right now, and in your ears. Let's find out what they've been up to. Welcome back, guys. How you doing?
Thank you, Guido.
Thanks, Guido. How
Hey,
you
right
doing?
on.
You still throw me off that there's a Guido in Toronto.
I bet you there's lots of Guidos in Toronto.
I know there's a lot in Bayville, but I'm not sure in Toronto.
How you
Woodbridge.
doing? How you doing? There you go.
For a long time when I was younger, I was worried about telling people my name, you know?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
they're
Yeah, me too.
Mike.
Mike. It's such a
It's a tricky name.
random name, Unusual name. You never hear that name ever.
Tony, you know what I'm talking about when I say.
I hear you,
Guido,
man. You know,
right?
it's Italian. It's Italian. It's the connotation, as they call it, with the name Guido.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
The only saving, I like the way you say that. No, I hear you. I hear you. The only saving,
Forget about it. I hear you.
Forget about
forget
it.
about it. I hear
Guido,
you.
forget about it.
The only saving grace I had was Saturday Night Live and Father Guido Sarducci.
Yeah. That's right.
Because he was funny and a little bit cool, and so sometimes they'd say, "Hey," they call me Sarducci. Hey, Sarducci, come over here.
Yeah. All right. That'll work. There you go.
Look, man, so we were talking about the trees, and there's everybody's watching. You can see Mike's got a tree in the background there, and I'm trying to convince them to do a rock show with the trees on stage. What do you think?
I think we have to do that. And I think, like I said, when we do the show with the trees, we have to put them in front of the amps and have the amps loud enough where we knock over the trees.
Mike, how loud is your amp?
I have it set to probably about 130 dB, which is as loud as a jet engine. A jet engine is about 130 dB.
His amplifier actually says ridiculous on it, and then he puts it on that. That's a singer's dream.
See, but what I do to compensate for the vocals is I have it that loud, but I turn it on an angle, so it's never straight on me or on Tony. It's actually angled to the right of the stage. Now, if people are standing all the way to the right of the stage, they're going to be all blown out. But if you're standing to the middle of the stage, it's kind of weird. Like when we did this last tour, if I go to the center of the stage or a little bit in between where I would stand and where Tony would stand, then you don't even hear the guitar at all. It's kind of wild. Then you walk 3 inches and you feel that your hair is like standing up.
How have you tested all of this?
What is that?
How have you tested all this? How do you know? Like, do you have victims out there like that? Yeah,
well, I mean, I've done it quite a long time where I know where I angle the amp, because I know even from my own preference, it's too loud on me. And what happens if it's too loud on me? I'm getting too much treble, too much high end.
Yeah.
And the way that I play, I don't like too much high end, but I know how it sounds through the board, so I just angle it a little bit. Like if I angle a little bit to the right, I'm getting just a touch of the high end, but I'm getting a little bit more of the residual low end and mids.
Now, Tony, are you feeling all this like on stage when he's doing all this stuff? Like, are you feeling it, or do you know that he's playing at 130?
Well, now I mean I have ear monitors in. I mean, thank God for ear monitors. So I can hear Mike through the ear monitors, but I don't necessarily have him in my mix.
Right.
Because he's loud on stage, I don't need him in my mix. So he could do whatever he wants, I mean, back in the day when we just had I used the wedges and the ear monitors. But back in the day, we only had wedges. We didn't have ear monitors. And then it's more of an issue because sometimes the wedges aren't loud enough. You can't hear yourself. But with the ear monitors. I mean, but it still gets to a point where even with the ear monitors, I have to stand in certain spots. But that's Mike's thing. I mean, he's an aggressive player. He's got that volume. Like he can't, turning it down wouldn't be right. So I work within the lines.
Yeah, don't take that away. We want that. We want
Yeah.
we want the power from Mike. We
Yes.
want
Well,
the
I mean, that's a big thing because, in theory in the studio, I feel like there's a lot of nuances to what we do, but the feedback from the crowd, like there's a power element to us, and it's just not volume, but there's definitely a power element. So, like you said, we don't want to lose that. There's something where I feel like when you see us live, I can only imagine. I mean, I can only imagine just based on feedback
yeah.
that it's something like if you saw Led Zeppelin in 1970, or Jimi Hendrix was, I mean, they were cranking really loud, and that kind of feel. And that's the feedback we're getting from the audience. And they're so excited that we're bringing that back.
Yeah, don't lose the power and keep that. And I want to talk about a little bit
I
about the
think Tony
studio
wants me
stuff
to
in a
bring like a
second.
little like
Wait,
combo amp, like a 110 amp.
I want an amplifier that follows me around the stage. That's what I want.
that would be kind of cool. A body
Yeah,
amp. A body amp. You guys, we're going in all sorts of directions.
we are.
So as we're talking about equipment, we don't have this conversation very often, right? Because we're so focused on songs and music and releases and things like that. But Tony, you got me thinking, right? Like you got the ear monitors are in. How much it has changed over the years, right? Like
Mhm.
how has the ear monitor changed what you guys do on stage versus from before, right? Better, worse?
Oh no, it's 100% better. I mean, I feel a lot more, because well, for a singer, I mean, if you're belting stuff out, it's okay. But when you're hitting low notes and stuff like that, if you can't hear yourself in the ear monitors or whatever monitors, you basically don't even know. The frequencies get all chewed up. When you're singing at a higher range, you can cut through. But when you're singing like mids to lows, all those frequencies get chewed up. So if you don't have a ear monitor in, um, I wouldn't even know what key I was singing. I mean,
Wow.
sometimes, but so it's good because now everyone can play a little louder, and I can still hear myself, which is cool. Yeah,
Do you guys have any little secret conversations going on because you got the ear monitors? Like, do you talk to each other in any kind of
I'm
way?
I'm the only one with the ear monitors.
Oh,
So
so you're not hearing anything, Mike.
no,
You're just I see. All right. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
with me, it's like there's wedges, um, but unfortunately, people don't realize that the wedges aren't made for guitar frequencies.
yeah.
I still don't even know how people do it with honestly with the wedges. Because again, it's too harsh on my ears when I'm playing on stage. You know, um, and I try to purposely set my pedal board off center to the wedge because if my board is on like right by the wedge, it's too piercing. So if I have to hit like one pedal, I'll walk a little bit to the left, and then I'm getting a lot of bass and mid frequencies. But if I had to rely on a wedge, I would hate it. It's too much.
That's wild. Fans don't understand what you go through on stage just to deliver the music,
yeah.
man. There's a
and
lot
and
going
and and
on.
every venue is different. Like you could be at one venue and you almost have these monotones going on. Like you'll get frequencies going under the stage that
Well, yeah,
screw you.
and to test what Tony's saying, that sometimes we're playing what they call like hollow stages. So when we and again, you don't even know until you're actually maybe two or three songs in, maybe and when you have a hollow stage, all the bass frequencies are just shooting up underneath
Yeah,
you and swallowing up the high ends and the mids. It's kind of crazy.
that's wild. It's wild, all the crazy stuff and all the adjustments that you got to make to deliver a show. Look, you guys have been pretty heads down. Mike, you and I haven't connected, I think, since early last August. Tony, you and I reconnected this past March, but I look online and you guys all like the pictures I see. You guys are pretty heads down. You're working away on music and stuff like that. You've been keeping pretty busy, it looks like.
I always try to keep busy. It's, I have a philosophy of always moving forward, and some days you move a quarter inch, some days you move a mile, some days you move 10 miles. But I feel if you don't move forward or make the attempt to move forward, then you're going backwards. And I really just believe that. So every day, whether it's going in the studio, or whether it's doing a show, or whether it's doing social media, we're just always trying to do something to move forward.
So is it like, hey, Tony, let's go, Tony, let's go, Tony, Tony, Tony? Is it like that, Tony, or is
Yeah,
it?
well, I'm always busting Tony's chops to move forward. Um, you know, but I'm a different person. I mean, we're just different people. Um, but yeah, it's just I have these ideas. I just want to, one day maybe all social media. One day will be, I got a new song. One day, you know what? Let's try this. There's always something. There's always something brewing to get us forward.
So you mentioned social media. Tony, I see you on there posting stuff. Mike, I see you on there posting stuff. You're not just doing that. You're engaging, you're embracing like with fans, you're exchanging text messages and stuff and pictures and you seem to have both really embraced the whole social media online thing. Is it still fun or is it starting to get a little workish?
I mean, it's all part of it. I mean, I think Mike's a lot better at it. Like he's got to always remind me to keep doing it. I'm naturally, not because I don't want to do, I'm just naturally an introvert, believe it or not. Like on stage, I'm one person, and off stage, I'm not, and I like my privacy and stuff like that. But we realize in today's day and age, we have to post, we have to engage the audience because a
Yeah.
lot of people, it's the only time they're going to see us. So I am getting a little bit better at it. But Mike's got it down pack. I'm still a baby doing it, learning. But a lot of people are just very comfortable sharing everything, and I sort of want to still be me, but I also know I have to share a little bit more. So I'm working on it.
Tony, when I see you post your bacon and egg sandwich in the morning, I'll know that you'll have fully embraced social media, man.
Yeah, that'll be the tipping point.
Yeah, well, I want to see Tony eat bacon. That's what I want to see.
Tony, you don't like pancetta?
No, I like all that stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but he
Yeah.
doesn't eat it. He's,
There's the road
if you
diet.
see Tony and I go eating out, it's a completely
Yeah,
different animal.
You have a
yeah,
road, did you say a road diet?
yeah, road diet. Like there's only certain things I'll eat because
Okay.
things could, like I stay away from dairy and stuff. It's all singer stuff. Nobody wants to hear that. But there's
No,
certain things
I get it.
I eat and certain things I don't eat, even though I would love to eat them and I would like to have a drink. And but there's just certain things I just don't do on the road.
I don't follow those rules, by the way.
Yeah, but I get it. He's got discipline for his voice. It's admirable, Tony. It's admirable.
Yeah, I try. Yeah.
Look, talking about your music and songs and doing that stuff, you guys released a new single called Down back in September. Tell us about the song. What is Down? Who came up with it? How does it compare to some of the music that you had already put out there?
Um, okay. Well, I mean, the way we always write. Mike comes up with the riffs, the power parts, the guitar riffs and stuff. And I came up with Down. I mean, it's an lyrically, it's an anti-establishment song. It's down, like we're chanting, it's time to rise up. We're being censored, we're doing all these things, and down is like an anti-establishment to say, F you to the people. That's the vibe of the song, and the chorus is very aggressive. It's just a very aggressive chorus that people can chant to or scream to. So that's basically lyrically, and it's a very aggressive song. Mike has a very aggressive guitar solo at the end. I mean, everything about the song is just like a punch in the face.
Yeah, and one thing to add on the song too is on this particular song we also have Perry Richardson from Striper
That's
playing
right.
bass on it. And it's funny how he defined it. He called that song. And it's actually fitting. I can actually get the visual out of it. He calls it sludge rock, where you're hearing down and your feet and your legs are stuck in mud, and you just want you're doing everything to get out of that mud, and so when you're stuck in that situation, you're aggressively trying to get out, and that's how he described it. I was like, Harry, is that like a bad thing? He goes, oh, that's no, do that. He loved it,
Yeah.
and the other cool thing I was going to say to the overall music of it too, he's playing a 5-string. It's kind of bizarre. He's playing a 5-string bass tuned to an E flat, and he picks up instead of down, which is kind of bizarre for any kind of technique. So I think that adds to the heaviness and the aggressiveness. There's a little bit different textures that he adds to that song.
Yeah, it's all, look at, it's all those things. It is heavy, it's aggressive. Tony, you put the killer vocals on it as well. I really like that, like you're describing lyrically, like the anti-establishment and stuff, but it just seems to, everything in the song seems to come together and match and grind out, and it's catchy, all those things. So I was really excited when I started listening to it. And then I got really excited because it was up for some Grammy consideration.
Yes. Yeah. We would, what do you call it? Well, not nominated, but what does that called, Mike, when we're
Up for consideration.
up for consideration? And I guess, Mike could tell you too, I guess the first wave of considerations was 20,000 bands or artists. And we were number 69 out of 20,000 artists, which that in itself was, I'm proud of what Mike and I have accomplished with that.
Even prior to that, if I have to cut off Tony, this basically, we're digitally we're on with the Orchard Sony. So when they submitted that to the Grammys, there's still an approval process before you even get up for consideration. So there's a lot of people that, or bands or artists, that didn't even get up to consideration level. So we made it through the consideration level, and then after that, out of the 20,000 that got approved, we were number 69 out of 20,000, and that's was really cool. That that's the industry and other artists. So I know that some of them that voted for us, like the guys from Mana or Ice-T, and even the Striper guys voted for us. I just know there was a lot of big people rooting for the underdog, because I think Tony had said it well in a post, but we're going against the big machine, but we have a lot of friends in the business that are rooting for the underdog, and in a lot of ways we've accomplished a lot, but we're still the underdog. So it's kind of cool for all these really big bands and legendary people to vote for us, like the Big Wootens and Chuck Rainey's and so forth. There was just a lot of big people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that, and I saw 69, and it's like, holy jumping, 20,000 submissions, and you landed 69. And I did see your post, Tony, on the comment about the big machine. Why do you guys consider yourselves an underdog, and what is the big machine?
As the big machine is, I mean, it's no secret. There's a lot of artists that have a lot of money behind them, and well connected, a lot of money, and let's be honest, they always seem to always win the awards. I mean, nobody's that good, but it's a game. It's a game. We want to be part of it, so we consider. We're doing it. We're doing it on a shoestring budget. We're doing it old school. We write good songs, we go out on stage and we play, and whoever shows up, we just play like it's the Nassau Coliseum or a sold out show. And we're doing it the old fashioned way. We're grinding it out. We meet people. We do, we meet our fans after, if they want to buy a shirt or CD, we take pictures with them. I mean, we really are doing it the old school way, and it's a new world. So when I said it's against the machine, I'm not hating on anyone. I appreciate everybody. They're all great artists, but there are some people that, listen, if you could, put $300,000 into a tour, then, we don't have that kind of backing right now. So that's what I meant by it.
Yeah, and I want to, in fairness, I also want to say, because I was going to say, you look at, so you land 69 out of 20,000. There's the big machine, but you also went on and posted a congratulatory message to all the folks who moved forward, very supportive, explained online, hey, like the work that they're doing towards this Grammy, consideration. Um, is it hard to do that, Tony or Mike? Is it hard to be supportive of all the others when you see that
No,
happening and you know what you've done, like with your own material and work?
yeah. I mean,
I,
yeah, go ahead, Mike. You can
I
take
said,
it.
I don't think it's hard. I think it's, I think there's been enough, or I wouldn't say enough is the correct word. There's been a lot of high profile people in the industry. It's something I just mentioned that have been so supportive. How could we not reciprocate and be supportive back to their careers? People doing things just to be gracious and just to be friends. It's the right thing to do. Is just to be equally supportive or not more supportive back to them.
I agree.
Yeah, it's a good if you're gonna if you are the underdog, it's good to be a good underdog, I guess, in that scenario. But I listen to you guys and I think I don't know how much longer you could be the underdog sounding the way that you sound. You sound really great, making some great music.
Thank you.
Um,
Thanks.
Mike, you posted online something. You said creating something that never existed fulfills your soul and passion for making art. The studio is my home away from home. That's pretty reflective, and you share that online. Where does that come from?
That comes from being in the studio all the time. I mean, it really is my home from home. But I know there's a few things over time when I don't get to, honestly, when I don't get to create, it's actually I get kind of depressed.
Hmm.
There's really such a need in me to create, is one. But also realizing, just as an artist, and music is obviously an art as well. And I look as you're giving us a blank canvas, and say, artist is walking into his room. Same thing, we're walking into the studio. If you think about it, 12 hours earlier or a day earlier, this thing that you just created was never there. So to create something from nothing is extremely fulfilling for me.
That's right on, man. Thanks for sharing that. It caught my eye, and it's almost like you're a guitarist and you have a special relationship with your guitar. And you talked about the studio and being in the studio, and you kind of build a relationship with the room and with the things around you as you're being creative and doing that stuff. So I tend to hone in on
Well,
some of
it's
those
not
things.
it's not only the guitar, Guido. It's also, I have the role and the responsibility of a producer as well. So there's a lot more than just my relationship with the guitar. There's a
Yeah.
relationship with my engineer. There's a relationship, um, with all the players involved. Every time we write something new, also my relationship with Tony. Like, okay, here, Tony, here's something new. Let's create something new. There's so many elements to it, and then when it happens, like I said in the post, it's fulfilling. I mean, when it does happen, there's many times it doesn't happen, but
Eh.
when it does happen, it's quite fulfilling.
Talking about fulfilling, the new single "Down," will it be on the In Theory Promised Land CD that was made available for pre-order in early November?
Yes. Down is on a new CD. Um, and people can go to our website intheoryoriginal.com, and you can actually buy it now. And so it's available. It's available as we speak. I believe if they request, we'll sign it. We like to sign things, so people put special requests in there and stuff. We'll sign the
Especially body
CD.
parts. Especially
Body
body parts.
parts. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'd have to be
that's
in
my
person
thing.
for
I
that.
like signing body parts.
Remotely, 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 just like body
Remotely, right?
parts.
or they can visit me, or I can get a visit. That's fine.
That's awesome. Like you could buy the album and get a special visit and a special
All right,
album.
sure.
Mike will
And
bring the
create body art. That's a different fulfillment.
Tony's not going. Tony's not biting on that.
No,
Wait,
Tony's not. Tony doesn't want to join me on that adventure.
no, no, he's on road diet, Mike. He's
Oh,
That's right.
I'll watch.
Yeah, Tony's having his keto fucking salad and shit.
Have my salad and watch you sign body parts.
Tony, did you say Promised Land CD is available right now?
Yeah, if you go to our website,
Oh,
you could pick it up right now. Sure.
I thought it wasn't being released till the new year.
Yeah, no, it's available now.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. Great.
Yeah.
Promised Land is available right now
Mm-hmm.
on the In Theory website, and we'll put that in the notes. How many songs are on the CD?
I believe it's 8, Mike.
Something like that.
Yeah, I believe it's
in
8.
between an EP and an LP.
Yeah. Every song's killer.
Every song's killer.
That's it.
You have a song
recommended by Tony.
Recommended by me.
You also have a song called Promised Land, and you do an
Yeah.
acoustic version of that, right?
Yep.
Is the new album a continuation of that song, In Theory, like of Promised Land, or is there some kind of linkage back to it, or?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, Tony and I have a thing where I think a big thing, and I think Tony would agree. I really think like no is not really in our vocabulary, and we don't really set out to be okay. This is going to be bluesy. This one's going to be sludge rock. This one's going to be acoustic. Tony and I write, and if it feels right, then we keep moving forward with it, and it'll eventually end up on a record. So I'm not sure if it's necessarily a continuation, but it's just our thought at that time.
Now that makes me, and I was going to ask, did you change anything in terms of the setup on this album? Musical approach, equipment, recording, producing, is there something different that's happening?
Always. No, honestly, it's always ever changing. Like I said, I love being in the studio. It's my little, my laboratory, and thank God, I have to give a shout out to our engineers, Charles Holloman, and we consider him definitely like the 5th member of In Theory, and he's always willing to go down that path with us, or the rabbit hole, or whatever you want to define it as. But many times they're like, it could be anything. It'd be like, I hear this sound, and he'll know, like, oh, Mike hears this sound, and then he'll like pull out 5 different things. Sometimes it's an app. Sometimes it's, we have Hendrix's preamps that we use. Sometimes it's an old microphone. Sometimes it's new. And we're just always experimenting, and then, like I said, sometimes it's a rabbit hole, and sometimes it's not. So you use one new gear, because you use that one new gear, and now we have to re-EQ Tony, or have Tony completely sing different, because the EQ and what's happening sonically, musically, is different. And that's always, I always find it, it's, let me tell you, it's a lot of work, because, I do the 16, 18-hour days, but it's a lot of fun, at the end of the day.
So Tony, do you have as Mike's doing and introducing some of this new stuff, or new ideas, new approach, new sound, etc., is it hard to, maybe hard is not the right word. How do you keep up with some of that, or how do you go, yeah, I'm going to contribute creatively this way. If you're doing A, I'm going to do B. Like, well, how do you complement that? If it's moving that fast all the time.
I don't know if I purposely do anything there. Like, he'll send me a part, and I get inspired by it, and I'll sing what I think I feel, like that vibe.
Yeah.
Like each riff, or each song, or whether it's strumming a chord or playing a lead, gives me a vibe. It tells me what the song should be about, and then I'll sing with that emotion, and then I'll fit words to fit that emotion. And then Mike might say, now you got to go even more, be more heavy, or maybe pull it back on this part, or maybe, don't be so, in the box on this part. Maybe think of something different. That part's cool, but try something else. So we always bounce back and forth, but I don't really deliberately, like, he'll send me a part and I'm just like, oh, all right, this is what I hear. And then I'll just sing something and send it to him.
Wow. I love that creative process, that like that exchange, and being able to do that, and just having the trust, having the trust, and it comes out in the music, I think. It does it That's how I see it anyways.
Yeah,
Um
trust is a good word. I mean, you're trusting somebody with their passion and with their soul. I mean, really,
yeah.
or their vulnerability, you know.
Yeah, I think like earlier you talked about relationships, and I was talking relationships in this size box, and you talked about relationships in the bigger size box, etc. But it's trust, it's all those things, but it comes out in the music, right? And your identity of creativity and innovation. I think it's just starting to sculpt more and more the more songs I listen to of the band in theory. You hear that ooze out of it in that way. Are we going to hear more of it oozing out live? Have you guys got some live shows coming up?
Mike would probably know more than I do right now.
Yeah, yeah, we have a bunch of shows with Angel again.
Yeah.
Which is we're looking forward to. We've again talking about relations. We developed such a great relationship with that group, and you know, um, and and Tony's close with the group, and I've become very close with Punky, and we're also going to be doing stuff actually outside of you know, I think it's going to be outside of In Theory, but Punky and I, who's the guitar player for Angel, everyone knows Punky Meadows. Him and I spoke the other day, and we almost had this idea of calling it the two Punkies. He calls me Mozart, but he's calling it Punky Meadows and Punky Mozart, and then have Tony do all the vocals, but it won't be In Theory style of music. It won't be Angel style of music, but it'll definitely be an eclectic music. It'll definitely put Tony to the test as far as, okay, we're going to go pop Beatles, and then we're going to go Chris Cornell, and then we're going to go whatever. And Punky and I have just been throwing ideas back and forth, but getting back to it, yes. So we do have a West Coast. We're doing Vamps and the Whiskey, and I know we have a Northeast run, and we're talking about again revisiting our Midwest run again. And then outside of that, there's some other shows occurring because I'm also a Gibson endorsee. We're doing the Gibson Garage, which is kind of cool. It's going to be aired to, I'm not sure if Tony knows this or not. I always tell Tony after the fact, I'm good that way. But that's going to be aired, I think, in between, somewhere in between 5 to 7 million people will see it in real time. So if Tony messes up and sings flat, no pressure,
Yeah, I didn't need to know that. You should have told me that.
If he's going to have his keto sandwich,
Yeah, extra keto.
But but it'll be live. They'll catch all the mistakes live. It's going to be, so. But also there'll be an audience in front of us, and there's several other things that I'm doing as well, including our internal booker. So, yeah. So I think right now we do have a bunch of shows already lined up through June, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's right. I was looking and I thought March, but right through June. Is there a New Year's Eve party going on, or a New Year's Eve
No,
play?
I think I'm going to go visit Tony on New Year's Eve.
Is that allowed, Tony? Are we gonna break out the wine? Are you allowed to have wine on New Year's Eve? Or?
Wine? Yeah, sure, we can have wine.
Yeah, or Tony's going to bring out the Moet Chandon over there. So
there you go.
No,
hey,
that's
by
awesome.
the way, so they're decorating the tree right now. You're on the air. Whoever that, what's your name?
Hello.
Marianna. She's putting the Christmas balls on the tree right now, as you can see. She's trying to finagle the balls right now on the tree.
And that's why we can't have nice things, Tony.
Hey, you get a rock band on your show. You ask for it.
But I'm not lying.
All show long, I think you've been reading my mind. Look
right, look. Right? Am I wrong?
He's laughing.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, tell them where we are. Where are we? Wait, we're in Peachtree City, Atlanta, at the Hilton Hotel. She's doing a plug for the Hilton, and she's busy with the balls.
And Mike's just got her. I really love your peaches. Want to shake your tree, right? That's where you're
Exactly.
going. That's
That's
where
later.
Tony's going to come up with a new inspiration after that.
I'm writing the lyrics.
This show's going to turn into Howard Stern pretty soon.
Next question. Next question.
I thought we're still on the same question.
I lost all the questions.
Throw the script out.
I threw him off the stage, man. No, I was gonna ask about the band Angel, but you said, hey, like we love playing with Angel, and
Oh yeah,
that seems to be going well. And I know you had talked about it. You guys were pumped about it the last time we talked, and it sounds like you're still pumped about it. You know, so that's pretty cool. And you guys are sounding...
I have to say, Guido, I mean, on a serious note, I mean, we're very pumped about it. I know Tony was a big Angel fan growing up, and myself, but I have a very you know, a deeper meaning with the band Angel, and Tony knows the story. So my brother, who had passed away quite young, you know, he was 3 years older than me. So when I'm 11 years old and he's 14 years old, they're quite an influence on your life. And he's one who, at that same year, was 77 or so. So I was like 11, 12 years old. Kiss Alive, Aerosmith Rocks, Angel on Earth and Winds Heaven. Those are my first 3 records. And when I was 11, 12 years old, my brother used to call me Punky. And so to do a tour with Punky, I mean, I kept thinking about my brother the entire time. And, you know, and I was talking to Punky, telling him about the Punky story. And so it had such a big meaning for me. And then when we first got the first shows announced, by coincidence, I'm not sure if you believe in these types of things, but it happened to be on my brother's birthday when our first shows got announced. So that was very cool. And then since then, Punky and I have become really good friends. But one of the cool things is, and Tony would attest to it, every night, you know, when permitting how they had the stage set up, Punky would set up, you know, stand next to me and watch what I was doing. You just wave? Are you like video bombing me over here? This is a very serious story over here. I'm talking about Punkies. But yeah, but he would watch me every night, and when I happened to be on, he went gunning and he was on. So and I think, you know, a guitar player's relationships with other guitar players are different. Like singers like to be cool, they don't talk to each other. You know, bass players, there's a camaraderie, drummers, but a guitar player, there's the fastest gun in the West type of mentality. So when I was really killing it, Punky came out and he was killing it. And that made me feel like, okay, I'm doing something right. You know, for one of my idols to come out there and try to outgun me. And then since then, we've become such great friends. And in fact, I know December is another thing I didn't tell Tony, but I know that he's trying to make it to muscle shows, and we're going to try to do as many songs as possible. I have to get Tony down there. And like we said, we're not sure if it'll be an In Theory with a special collaborator, or it'll be a new band that will be on Angel's label, or just be the 2 Punkies, as he calls me, Punky Mozart, and do it that way. But we haven't decided, except we're doing it in December. And that's the other thing too. I'm not sure if I told this to Tony, but Punky's a huge fan of Tony. So so I think it'd be cool. It's special for all of us.
What a story. Like, I got chills and goosebumps when you started talking about your brother and how, like, the date and how that all kind of lined up. That's just incredible. And it's incredible you get to play with, like you said, one of your childhood heroes, to be able to play that out on stage and collaborate with them. And Tony, you got a bird's eye view of all of this, right? Like, you know, you get to see this thing happen and fold and be part of it as well. That's incredible. The other incredible thing is I feel like when we talk, the 3 of us, I feel a bit of a conduit. Like, Tony finds out a lot of stuff here when I'm here.
This
So,
is all news to me, Guido. So
right?
I have to do your show once every week because I'm getting filled in on things I didn't even know I was doing.
I just feel like I have a special role in the In Theory band all of a sudden. I'm just
You are
throwing it out there.
You're the interpreter.
and we got to get you down to a show, Guido.
Yeah,
You got to come down.
Let's
Come on, man.
bring this back. So you
Come on,
talked
brother.
about all these places that you're playing. Are you gonna list them on the website?
No, it's not on the website yet, but we've been putting it on social media. So I know that we have Fresno and LA and Vegas and
I need a place.
Massachusetts.
I need a place where I could see this all. I got
It'll
kids.
be.
I have kids, you know, like I gotta plan things out.
You have kids.
Like I have to plan things out when we go places. So,
But we do have to make it up to your neck of the woods soon. I was talking to Pat, who's one of our Booker guys.
yeah.
Pat Calamari. Hey, forget about it.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Calamari, forget about it.
Get out of here.
No, but I know that based on on personal messages and emails and visitors to the site, we get so many requests to play in Canada. So we're hoping to pull that off, sooner than later. But it's crazy. I mean, we probably get more requests out of Canada than any other country. Seriously.
Let's do it. I got the homemade sauce on the stove. You guys come over.
And you got the kids. You got to send the kids to bed early.
You know what? I go to bed before them now. We've reached that point, but no, seriously, that's awesome. So if whether it's we get the list and I find a way to make it close to wherever you guys are, or man, come to Canada, that would be great. I'd love to see that happen. Love to come out and support and bring folks out to see you. Lots of great venues that you guys can tear down, I'm pretty sure. There's a few
I mean, if you have a list or anything you can send to me or to Tony, just let me know, and then we'll have Pat take care of it, because there's a lot of people that Pat Calamari. There's a lot of people
Pat Calamari.
That have been, Pat Calamari. The squid. No, but a lot of people are sending us lists of clubs and so forth. So if you have a list, please send it over.
Yeah,
it's just extra ammo for us, because what we also discovered as we've been booking, there's also politics within every state. You play this club, you can't play that club. You play that club, you can't play this club. So there's a lot of that going on, and I'm sure it's no different in Canada as well.
Yeah, there's a territory within the territory sometimes,
There's subdivisions of the territory.
There is, and what's happening too. I've been talking about this the last few shows with different rock bands. Is that there's this resurgence of rock happening, all over the place, and I'm starting to see more pockets of it like I used to before, which it's great. I love rock music, right? I love that sound and all that. But there just seems to be the vibe that it's just, starting to accelerate again. And so maybe that's why we're also seeing some of the territory things happening or whatever. But yeah, I think in theory would look great in Canada.
Can I take one of these off? You have to give me one before you hang it up. Right. See? I'm not kidding. We're playing with balls here. That's what I'm saying.
You got to get it autographed.
I have to autograph it?
Yeah, you have to get it autographed.
I'm something. I'm not sure what I am,
but you might have to tell me.
I'm Mike. See, that's Tony.
Uh-huh.
And that's Guido. He's interviewing us from Canada.
Awesome. Hey, my daughter is in Montreal, Canada.
I love Montreal.
Yeah, so she went to college there.
Wow. By now she should.
And she's married there now, and
got a whole nother interview.
So,
hey, Guido,
no, that's
look what
awesome.
I'm holding, Guido.
You're holding the ball.
So he probably knows McGill University.
Yeah, McGill, absolutely. Yeah.
That's where she went. Yes.
That's sorry, what's your name again?
Marianna.
Marianna. Welcome to the Path Radio, Marianna. Thank you for joining us.
Oh my gosh, I'm on the radio?
You're on the radio right now.
Oh.
Do you want to say hi to your daughter?
I'm sorry, what?
You want to say hi to your daughter?
You want to say hi to your daughter?
Absolutely, yes.
What's her name? Go ahead, say hi to her.
Her name is Carolyn Anderson.
Okay.
Actually, she just got married to a French Canadian. Her name is now, it's still Carolyn Anderson. Never mind, because she kept her name.
She kept her name. Is he from Montreal? Does he play hockey?
He is from Montreal, yes. Yeah. And she went to college there at McGill, and she's a chemical biomedical engineer. Loves Montreal and loves Canada.
Nice.
Hey, right on. Well, congratulations on the marriage, Carolyn.
Special guest appearance by Marie.
There you
Special,
go.
All right.
special guest, man. She blew us out of the water with that story.
She's going on the road with us right now.
Yeah.
That is what In Theory does though with fans. They take the ball and they hand it off.
One
She's
fan
good
at
with
a
the
time.
balls. Yeah. Right? You're good with the ball.
I got
All
nothing.
right.
I got
All right.
nothing. I got
I'm with
nothing
you
to
on
do
that.
with this.
All right. I'm holding you to it.
I got nothing to do with this.
All right, guys, listen, one more thing.
Yeah, it's a good show.
It is, man. This is great. We're having a good time. Like I said, I'm borderline Howard here, but I'm trying not to be. So. Tony's managed not to put his hand on his head as much as I. That's why I have a high forehead, just from doing this so much. This high forehead, man.
I'm
You know?
used to it.
The widow's peak. When I had long hair, you couldn't see the widow's peak as much. When I got short hair, you see it. So, we are having some fun. But let me ask you this: what's the easiest and hardest thing you've had to do in this journey called In Theory so far?
Yeah, Mike.
Oh, the hardest thing, I mean, it's the constant, I feel like the constant knocking down the doors is the hardest thing, you know? I feel like this band, you know, and that's why I call us the underdog. And I know a lot of people don't, when they see what we accomplished, they don't see it as the underdog. And believe me, I do understand we've accomplished a lot, but it's on a daily basis. Like I said, the doors that you have to kick in, or the doors that get closed that you're forcing to open on a daily basis. That's the hardest thing. Whether it's booking, whether it's, you know, promoting your music, whether in writing. There's just so many hurdles and obstacles that you face every single day, and not to get dissuaded by it. You know what I'm saying. You have to keep optimistic that, you know, your vision is going to come to fruition, no matter what's thrown in front of you. And I think that's the hardest thing. And I think you need a thick skin to face that on a daily basis, and wake up every day trying to fight that battle of your dream.
Mike, that's the hardest thing. Tony, the easiest.
The easiest is getting together on stage. You know, recording a great song. You know, when everything comes together. You know, just the artistic part of it is the easy part. What Mike's talking about is all the business behind the scenes kind of thing. So the business is the hard part, you know. But the artistic, you know, if you could separate the business and just think about you as a singer, a guitar player, producer in a band, it's great. You know what I mean? But you need the business in order to get the band into these places to show everyone. So easiest part is, you know, the thing that we got into it for, you know, singing, playing guitar, writing a song. That's the easy part.
The music, entertaining.
Right.
Yeah. That's right on. Guys, I've had a blast doing this. You know, I said when we initially were going to start, yeah, we'll do a short one. We'll do like 15, 20 minutes, you know, just catch up. But we had so much fun. I lost track of time here as we were doing this. So we ended up with something big, a little bit longer. So I'm sorry about that. But I do appreciate it. I really do. As usual, is there anything you want to leave us with before we close things up?
Mike, you got anything?
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, support original music, support, you know, the underdogs, so to speak. You know, come to the website intheoryoriginal.com. You know, we have things set up on there. If they want to buy merch, if they want to buy CDs, and we even have it set up where, you know, like, you know, people can download stuff off of Spotify and iTunes, and we still have that. But if you go actually to our website, you can actually download the songs individually, or it gives you the option to buy both those CDs or merch and koozies, and you know, and support the band. You know, I mean, it's a self-funded situation, as you know, Tony said earlier. So that's the best thing I can say. You know, and the support doesn't go unnoticed, and Tony and I do our best of acknowledging and make people feel part of, you know, our journey. You know, and make it feel part of whatever you want to call it, the Intheoryites, or whatever we're going to call it. But we're just truly appreciative of everybody that's been supportive of us, and we're just encouraging more people to tell more people and tell more people, and just come to the site and support us.
Yeah, and if they do that through the site, it all goes. It's more direct to you guys, right?
Everything through the site goes direct to us.
Yeah.
When it's on those other platforms, we're getting sometimes 3% of 1%, and it's like, it drives me crazy. It's like, this is one of the only businesses, obviously is subjective, but you can put out a record and people can love you, but they can still download you. And even the biggest fans of In Theory or Foo Fighters or whatever band you want to name, you're still getting 3% of 1 cent of each stream. It's absolutely crazy to me. So that's why we set up the website, where it gives them the option. If they want to download just one song, they can do it, and the band gets to see all of it. Or if they want to buy Promised Land CD or the In Theory #1 record, they have the option of buying one or both, and then of course the shirts and so forth that's on the site.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, we don't talk for a long time. It was like the third door, right? We don't talk about this in the industry in terms of the artist, the cost of producing a song, the materials, putting together, packaging a CD. It's astronomical, and it's only gotten more expensive to do it.
It's definitely got worse.
Even if you're doing, and Mike, you do a lot of production work. We know that you do a lot of production work. Even when you're doing your own production work, you still have to pay people to do things, right? And so when you're talking
Absolutely.
about that percentage, and somebody will say, well, yeah, but it's only $1.49. I'm gonna buy $1.49 on your site, but you get to see the whole $1.49, right?
Right. I'd rather see the $1.49 than 4 cents.
Right. And so I just, I just want to drive that home, because sometimes, as consumers, we just look at it and go, well, yeah, but that's easy over there, and I could just do that, and I have that platform. It's just, just to have that awareness that, a lot more goes into it, and especially like you guys say, as you're the underdog and you don't have certain systems behind you yet, it becomes more important and more lucrative. Tony, are you good?
Yeah, I mean, I second what Mike said, to help support us so we can get out there and play shows and, play our music in front of you. Hopefully one day, we can meet everyone and shake your hand, take a picture with you, and have a blast together.
I'm looking forward to the selfie that I'll take with the both of you guys. Thank you, Mike the Big Tree.
I'm gonna bring one of my balls over.
Oh. Thank you, Mike the Big Tree and Big Ball Mostert, and Tony the Keto Diet Covino.
Keto Diet. Yeah.
That's the tree.
That's me.
I want to see trees on stage. That's In Theory, making it and keeping it all real for us. We look forward to the new music. Thank you.
But I think, like in Canada, you have a lot of those trees, right? You have the big pine trees going, right?
I got them across the street.
See?
Yeah, no, like I can make my own planters. I can't end this show like this.
See, then we're gonna have to send Tony up there to hang the lights and the balls.
I was hanging them yesterday and it was cold. Like I was so cold, my hands got all frozen and brittle because it was windy and chilly up here already. So, but yeah, I got those trees across the street from me, like right on our boulevard here, and I should go I'm gonna go decorate them now that you've given me.
Right. There you go.
Thank you for joining us.
We have to do it artificial. I have to do it inside of a hotel in Peachtree, Atlanta.
Is there, so outside the hotel, do they have the trees?
Yeah, they have trees, but it's just not cold enough. That's the thing right now.
I was just gonna say you could, like, go cut a real one down, bring it in, start something else,
Don't give them no ideas.
I have ideas.
I want to see it on Instagram.
Well, all I want to do is I think we should put like a bunch of trees in front of Tony so you can't see him.
I could just like peek in between the
right,
branches.
you'll peek in between, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And when you do a high note, you pull down on a branch.
I'm telling you, you know what? We need this. I need this in an In Theory show now. We need trees, Christmas trees or some kind of trees. Look, thank you for joining us on this.
Guido, thank you, my brother.
Take care,
Guido.
Mike. Take care, Tony. We'll catch up again.
All right, sounds good.
Ciao.
Bye.